Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Ooh,
So am I.
ironing the grease. Getting back, back to it.
Now that I've rubbed WD-40 over all of this shit.
Right, yeah, we're oiled up, ready to go.
I feel like I say WD-40 with the amount of confidence that I would know what it smells like, but I don't know what WD-40 smells like.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's how
That's
I know
fair.
I would not be trusted in an auto store.
right. Don't let me in there. You're just gonna get taken advantage of.
No,
Those
I'll just be
salesmen.
running up and down the ails singing the O'Reilly commercial song, and they'll kick me out immediately.
Like, what are you doing? This is not the decorum of auto parts.
You can't keep using these microfiber cloths as a cape. Get out of here.
Right.
Go away.
Oh god, get out of the AutoZone, please. Can't be trusted.
The AutoZone is my home. It's where I belong. I just want to recreate the High School Musical 3 scene where Troy is running with the tires. Just let me live in the AutoZone, please.
Is that a crime?
Apparently. It's loitering because I'm not purchasing anything. Anyways, it's been like a month. It's not.
It's not
But
true.
it feels like it since I've talked to you. How
Right.
are you? Asterisk.
Yeah, I am fine. You know, I'm here. I am in a better headspace than perhaps I was in the last week, which is a great improvement.
Sure.
I want to talk about a fucking show. Okay,
Okay.
is that
All right.
allowed? Can I talk my
Is
shit?
that a crime?
Can I talk my shit real quick? Can I?
Please. I
I
wish you would.
there is a show, a competition reality show on Netflix
Oh. Okay.
called Drink Masters.
Okay.
And it is just a bunch of fancy, like, mixologists, bartenders, the whole deal, whatever, in this huge rented out bar space that's very fancy. And they just do
From the rehearsal?
yeah, perhaps maybe it's a Nathan Fielder joint doing the puppet strings. And every week or episode or whatever, they just do these like fancy drink challenges with like liquid nitrogen or like beads
Whoa.
and like fancy shit, right? And like some of them are like, you know, Instagram people or like whatever, like not as experienced or whatever, but most of these people are like very fancy. And they're like, I do this in
Okay.
Vegas, or like I'm here in like Montreal, I'm the best of the best, you know what I mean? And it's just like very intense cooking show kind of vibe, but it's alcohol, right? And like fancy little drinks based on
Alright.
prompts. And what's interesting about this show is that unlike, you know, a master chef or like, you know, a top chef or
Right.
whatever, they give them like 2 hours to make one drink.
Okay, wait a second.
I know.
Are they making the glass that it's going in?
It's like they all do just like a bunch of wild shit. It's like so many things I didn't even know you could do with food and alcohol. They're just like making
Okay.
things. They're like cooking things. They're making jello shots. They're like doing all these like weird fragrances. They're like spritzing stuff. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I have. There were so many things that I thought about bringing to the space this week, but here's what I'll say. My honorary happy thing is I needed a new show to start watching because I finished This Is Us.
Oh, sure.
And I started yesterday, which is why I'm not bringing it. But I just wanted to let everyone know that I started watching Veep
Ooh.
because all I know about Veep is one, it was on HBO Max and it was suggested to me.
Sure.
But all I know about Veep is that it won a lot of Emmys.
Yes.
That shows I wanted one.
Right, yeah. Had him in a chokehold for a while, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm watching it. I have never seen it before, and I will report back.
Yes, very interesting.
That's
Hell yeah.
so. That's
Just
what
soft
I was
launching a happy thing. Yeah, potentially.
Right. It's just a soft launch.
Yeah.
My happy thing though, I saw on TikTok and I forgot this existed. This is a fun piece of Seattle history for you.
Okay.
That I forgot because I don't frequent it, but I first saw would have been like 11 years ago. It is a outdoor shopping center that's really close to UW.
Okay.
Like right down the hall. I was going to say right down the hall, but like right down a hill from it. It's really close by.
Sure.
And it has a parking garage. There's several now, but when I first went there a decade ago, they just had like one.
Yeah.
And it has 6 levels to it. And when you first get in there, they're all like themed by animals,
Okay.
which you might first see. And it's like, oh, that's cute. Like, I'm on the E level, and that's themed by elephant. So I'll remember when I come in, I'll go to the elephant level. Makes it easy, right?
Yeah.
Someone, when they were designing, like the art people who designed this parking garage, like went off. It's not just like one, when you're going near like the elevator, there's not just like one painted elephant. It's like everywhere.
Fuck yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So the reason why I remembered this is because I don't frequent this shopping center. It's like really bougie. Everything there is super expensive. Like the Apple store is there, you know, like that kind of shit.
Sure.
Anyway, but the first time that I was there was when I was touring UW. And so I was like, I have to check out all the sites.
Right.
And I was like, oh, these are all lettered. And I had never seen this before. And when I pressed the floor that we were on, they aren't just lettered by animals. They make sounds. So if you're on the E floor, which is an elephant floor, it makes an elephant sound. So if I can direct you to the TikTok that I have linked you, could you experience this for yourself, please?
Absolutely. It is loading. Hold on. Come on, TikTok. Oh my god. That is the most terrifying and loud elephant noise I've ever heard. I have to download that and put that into the recording here, just so you all can hear this as I heard it.
It's haunting.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what you might think an elephant sounds like.
Sure.
And it is a real, like, visual and auditory memory of, like, all right, fuck, I'm on the elephant floor.
It's like you're in a rainforest cafe inside of an elevator, which is horrifying. Because at least in a rainforest cafe, you at least have space, but in an elevator, you're stuck, and that's what you have to hear as you go up. That's wild. Oh my gosh.
I've never experienced a parking garage like this ever, where usually they have some sort of like numbering system, right, to help you remember. But I've never experienced this where it is decorated in a sense to help you remember, and it has this like auditory component, and it has lore like you have seen on TikTok. So I thought I would bring you in and invite you into this piece of lore that is niche to Seattle, because it is not something that I know or experience frequently now, but because of this TikTok, I remembered and felt a lot of sympathy for the employees
You're right.
You must do this on a daily basis, and that seems awful.
Yeah, imagine just like doing elevator maintenance and stuff. You just have to be accosted by those sounds. God.
So welcome, and I sorry.
Yeah, I love it though. It is chaotic, but you know, sometimes you just gotta have a little fun with it, you know?
Right, exactly.
The world is
and
painful.
I'm sure that the people that did it had a lot of fun with it.
Yes, yeah. At the expense of
Which is
every
great.
other person at the mall, but I appreciate it.
Right? Yeah, to the horror of everyone there, which is, you know what, it's kind of like chaos that I appreciate.
Oh, completely. Wow. What a
So-
fun little piece of history.
It's awful and it's great, but I
love it.
appreciate it. Could I invite you to our current events corner?
Absolutely. I would love nothing more.
We've had a week off. And of course, right after our episode last week, the one, the only, Nicole Perkins launched this Harper's Bazaar, the Harper's Bazaar piece on Penn Badgley.
Yes.
If you all have an opportunity, I highly recommend not only reading this piece, but if you have access to looking at the photo of Penn in this
It's
piece,
a very cute photo. Very,
god damn.
very stunning man.
I aspire to the level of exhaustion and sexiness that he is in this photo. Because how do you do that? It's been a while, I think, since we've talked about Nicole Perkins, but we are a Nicole Perkins fan podcast.
Yeah, first and foremost.
Not only because of Nicole's work on Thursday Kit,
Yes.
but Nicole does everything. A writer, an angel, everything. So it would only make sense to me that Harper's Bazaar would be like, you, Penn? Yes.
Right.
Please.
Oh, it's truly a collab of the century right here.
Oh my god. I would have given everything for him to have been on Thursday Kit. God damn.
God, could you imagine?
But it's okay. It's okay. I would have shot into the sun, so it's for the best.
Yeah, it would have been too horny. Right? It would have been like the chicken shop deification of would have gotten too hot and spicy in there.
Oh my god. By the way, did you see one of the Chicken Shop's recent episodes with Shania Twain where Homegirl says that she still hasn't seen or met Brad Pitt?
Oh my gosh.
Because that is that's powerful to me.
Honestly, good energy.
And it's for the best. It's for the best, I
Right.
think.
Yeah. I think we're all better off.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I am so grateful to Nicole for this piece because not only is it Nicole coded, which is
Yes.
to say that it is beautifully well written, and Nicole asks the best questions, but Penn is going and sharing more about his reasoning behind wanting to step away from sex scenes in his acting. And I feel like who else but to invite more questions but Nicole
Yeah.
for that. Tell me more. Like,
Please, give
Nicole
me-
is the best person.
Yeah. I also love how so much of this piece is him talking about how much he loves D'Angelo.
Oh my god.
Like, for the man who's like, I'm tired of being seen as a sex object. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Which is like, that's your right. Whatever, do your thing. You don't have to do romantic and sexy lead roles anymore. That's okay. But going so hard for D'Angelo is very good.
He's such a... I love this man. I also thought that there were a couple of things that were interesting to me in this. One was him responding to the social media criticism of people being like, how dare you want to step away from sex scenes when you are a main actor in this like murder show? And he's like, homie, I don't want to do murder either.
Right.
Like,
It's like, I'm just vibing.
this is a job. Like, moving forward, I've been typecast. What do you want me to do?
Right. It's like, after this, I'm not gonna be murdering in my free time.
Exactly.
And hopefully not in other roles.
I also thought one of the other things that I appreciated about this article was Nicole talking more about the people who survive in You and the main people who survive being Black women thus far.
Yeah, that's true.
And Joe was like, Penn was talking about Joe and he's like, well, I mean, listen, I'm not the one in the writer's room, so don't give me credit for this. Right. But I do think that it's been pretty deliberate about like who Joe does and does not kill. So
yeah, oh for sure.
And I would agree with that. Like, I think that it's been very deliberate thus far, which I appreciate. And I also think that it was very... Something that I love about Nicole, too, is she talks about the fact that, like, Penn has been very vocal about how much he does not like Joe as a character, which is... That's Penn's whole thing. Like, right. There is a very clear separation between these two, and I just love Nicole. This is a Nicole show, so thank you for your service, as always.
God. Yeah, this is great stuff in here. Very good conversation. Big fan.
I'm personally curious, from your perspective, if you could... Where should Penn go from You, if you had any selection?
God, that's a good question.
Like, what would he do after this?
Right. I feel like we've talked a lot about, like, the kinds of things we'd like to see him do more of. Like, I feel like he's certainly in his era of, like, the dark, gritty kind of stuff, which I think is a good lane for him. Like, it doesn't have to be, like, a Joe Goldberg-esque kind of thing, but, like, you know, an intense drama or whatever, I think is, like, he has the range for that. But I want to see this boy laugh. I think this guy is funny. And, like, stuff with, like...
funny.
You know, his podcast and all that stuff, and his TikTok is really fun. Like, I would like to see him in, like, a little... Not a rom-com, because I know he doesn't want to do, like, those kind of roles anymore. But, like, I just want to see him, like, goof around. You know? Professionally.
You mean... So, like, a Barb and Star?
Right, yeah.
Like, you want him to be, like, a himbo?
I think maybe that's the lane. That could be fun. Him. I don't know. He's just so pretty, you know? I don't know where to put him.
That's true.
And it's hard when he's like, no romantic. And I'm like, that's fair. You're so right. But also, you can do so many things. Very good.
I agree. I think the difficulty is I do want to see him laugh. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, like, mental health.
Sure.
And he is such an embodiment of a Scorpio that, like, he plays a dark role so well. Mm-hmm. I think if I had any choice of, like, what I would want him to do next is something like a Knives Out.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, too. Like, more of a, like, murder mystery kind of vibe that, like, still has maybe cheeky moments, but are, like, it still, like, allows him to be, like, a darker character, like a, you know, meddling kind of thing.
Yeah, something that allows him to be, like, suspicious without
I want to see him sneaky.
A literal serial killer.
Yeah, a sneaky Penn. That's what I want.
Ugh, that's the dream.
Yeah.
What if we just talk about the Cars universe for the rest of this and we don't talk about these really sad chapters?
I mean, that is an option on the table, but I feel like we do have a job to do.
I know. So this is a real recall moment for my brain that is it's just there's just nothing in there but ocean sounds.
Head empty.
Yeah. What I remember last time is that Rose stood up and got in a fight with Tatiana they're in the court, the location, but like in the courthouse.
Yes, right.
And was trying to be civil, but then ultimately was like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. About the age limit.
Right.
Decree.
She tried her best.
Yeah.
And then Frere Rocher leaned on her usual. Listen, she needed a filler chapter, and so she was like, let's do my favorite thing of predicting what's going to happen through foreshadowing, aka a tarot reading.
Right. Almost identical to the last time we did this in a previous book.
Literally.
Which, go off, queen. Just grip it and rip it.
Just the equivalent of, like, AI writing your chapter.
Yeah. Literally, yeah.
Ugh. You know what? Bless her heart. Writing's hard.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not judging, you know?
Oh, I mean, we could have made it a little bit different, but you know what? It's all right.
Yeah, still respect
They
the hustle.
can't all.
Yeah.
Not every chapter can be bangers. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Lissa was like, "Hey, don't panic, but Dimitri needs your help. Okay, bye."
Right, it's urgent. Anyway, bye.
Anyway, bye. So tell me about chapter 23.
Oh my gosh. So, Rose gets the bat signal from Lissa. And she's like, I gotta go. Sorry, bud. I'm out of here. And
we can fight about your girlfriend later.
Right, your girlfriend, the queen, allegedly. Like, whatever. And she notices, like, huge crowd, and she's like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on? And she's freaking out and, like, running through this huge crowd, being like, get the fuck out of here, whatever. And Lissa and Dimitri are, like, sitting side by side on this, like, bench. And there's this, like, group of 3 different Moroi. Hans is also there.
Ruh-roh.
Like, sitting across from them.
They're having a picnic.
Yeah, it's all
not a problem.
Good vibes. Everything is really cool. And what we realize this is sort of an investigation to see what exactly Dimitri's whole deal is at this moment. They're kind of testing him on things.
They're pulling out all the stops.
Right.
We
exactly.
got sunlight. We got holy ground.
Right, yeah, they're like, a crucifix is here. Does the
Right.
sun hurt you? What if you looked at it into your eyes? And he's like, well,
How
I think
about
anyone would look into the sun that long, they would also feel pain. Not necessarily.
That part was so good.
It's so funny. And, like, this is kind of a different side of Dimitri that we've seen. He doesn't really know necessarily that, like, Rose is there, so he's kind of, like, just not defending himself, but, like, answering the questions, right? Like, it's just a very back and forth of, like, does this hurt you? What if, this, like, are you, screaming inside right now? Like, all these, like, Strigoi-isms and stuff. And he's just like, nope. And, like, all these little tests and things.
I also love the part where there's this other person who's investigating him named Reese.
Reese, yes.
You know Reese.
Our good
Reese.
friends. We know and love him.
Our best friend, Reese, who's like, so Dimitri, is the sun scalding your skin? And Dimitri's like, well, I put on sunscreen about an hour ago, so not right now, Reese. How are you doing?
Yeah.
I just love this because Dimitri's not necessarily being an asshole, but he has been confined in, like, pitch black for a week, and so he's just like, can we just be done with this?
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's not even like him being curt about it. He's just like, I don't know what else you want. And they're like, oh, are your eyes red? Have they turned red recently? And he's like, I am in a cell. I have not seen a mirror since I've been here. But I'm sure if other people noticed it, there'd be a different situation. You know what I mean?
Hans, like, comes up behind him and douses him in holy water. It's like, can we stop? Like...
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Christian kind of comes up at some point here, and it's like, this is kind of a waste of time. Because what they're really doing is trying to, like, use this as, like, a little side distraction for all the anger and outrage over the, like, age decrease for Guardians. And that gets
True.
Rose obviously which is true, yes. And Rose obviously gets upset because she's like, this is something that could have precedent over, like, everything. And this is just used as,
Right.
like, a little political tactic. Boo. Tomato, tomato.
And it's... Christian's not wrong. Christian is
Right.
is right.
Yeah.
And Rose is like, we need to just get this done.
Yeah.
People need to see in public because it's crowded. It is their evening time.
Yeah.
And it's like, people need to see in public that he is not a Strigoi and he is not a threat, and just get this over with so it can stop being hot goss.
Right. Yeah.
So if this is what we need to do, it's annoying. Yes, it is smoke and mirrors, but let's just, like, rip the Band-Aid off.
Right. Yeah. There's a moment, too, where Hans is like, touch this steak, see if it burns you, see
Oh
if
my
it
God.
makes you go wild. And he's like, okay. And then and Dimitri, very funny of him, is like, okay, then now cut me with it, because it's gonna hurt really bad.
Cut me, bro. Just cut me, bro.
Just cut me, bro. And they're like, okay, and they do it, and obviously he's bleeding and, like, obviously in pain, but not in, like, a Strigoi pain of burning and screaming and stuff. And Lissa naturally is like, I want to heal you, but they're like, wait, Strigoi could heal it on their own, so let's give it a minute, and then we'll see what's up. And is obviously fine. But then this kid shows up, which is so cute.
This was good. So, like, Hans, after cutting Dimitri
Yeah.
and watching him heal, or, like, watching him not heal, rather,
Yeah.
seems convinced that Dimitri is not a Strigoi anymore.
Right. Like, everyone's kind of turning a little bit on it. At least Hans,
Yeah.
for sure. Recently, others are, like, a little skeptical, but Hans is like, I need to see it with my eyes, and is believing.
Yeah. And then fucking, you know, like, our best friend Reese
Yeah.
is like, does anyone in the crowd have any questions? And, you know, Rose, who notably has control over her impulses, is
Famously.
like, well, I do.
It's like, actually, I have a quick cue, if you don't mind.
And Lisa in her head is like, Rose,
Enough.
please.
But this is
We are doing
interesting.
so good.
This is, like, really a smart thing on Rose's behalf. Cause
It's so smart. It's
Yeah.
so smart.
I never even thought of
Eh.
this. But her
Me
mind,
either.
fabulous. And she's like, okay, so when you used to be a Strigoi, wink wink, you were connected and, like, knew all the whereabouts and all of everything and plans of all these Strigoi, right? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, you still know them? You know, you still around? And where they are and all those plans? And he's like, you know, if they haven't moved, yeah, I have a general awareness of those things still in my brain. And then she's like, okay, bet. Would you share that info with Guardians and tell us where these, like, hideouts are so that we can, like, make an offensive move? And everyone's in the crowds are like, what is going on? Like, people are, like, mic drop, right? Everyone's going, like, what the hell? Because obviously there's, like, this whole thing of, like, the offensive stuff isn't really, it's more about the protection of the court and the school and everything, rather than, like, going
And the
out.
last time that they tried to go after them
Right.
is what got Dimitri killed.
Right, in the first place. So, was a lot of commotion, right?
Right.
And Dimitri is kind of like back to old Dimitri a little bit. You can see him, his eyes kind of line up a little bit, but, you know, he's kind of like getting where Rose is going a little bit, like they used to.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I'll tell you. everything about that. And, like, if we do face him, I can go with you, or I can stay put if that's more comfortable for you. That's the vibe. And
of course,
Hans
is like,
horny
holy
for
shit.
this. Yeah, he's rock hard for this. It's like, that's awesome. That's so sick. Like, you know, that could be invaluable to our whole operation. Hell yeah.
Reese, who I imagine is like, now hold on.
Yeah, actually
That's never been
pointing up his glasses to his nose.
Oh my god. He's like a fucking mingus. He's like, that's never been a tactic we endorsed, so.
Right. And then this scream happens. This woman screams. And everyone's like, what the
I
fuck?
love this kid.
And the reason this woman's screaming is not because anyone got hurt or anything. It's just this little kid, this little boy just like runs up to the front. And it's like, I have a question. And this poor kid's mom is like belaggered. And it's like, what is happening? Like, stop. Don't be hurt by this man who we don't know what his thing is. What's going on? And Rose is like, don't worry, I got this. We're not gonna let him be hurt. Even though she's like, I don't know if that's true, but like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it.
Just trust me on this. And she's really nice and being like, what do you want to ask? What's your question? And he's just like, well, if you're a Strigoi, why don't you have horns? My friend says the Strigoi have horns. So, what's going on here?
He's like chewing bubblegum.
Yeah, he's like, what's the deal with that? And Dimitri's like, well, A, not a Strigoi. B, if it was, they don't have horns. I know that sucks, but they don't have horns. He's like, well, what about the eyes? Your eyes are supposed to be red. What's up with that? And he's like, well, my eyes are brown, you see? So, look at that. And this is like a good moment of, you know, breaking down the like lowest common denominator of like the facts of him not being a Strigoi, right? Of like,
Yeah,
what about
if
fangs?
the lake people hadn't already believed it,
Right. This is
if
like
this
the-
child believes it, then they have to believe it.
Yeah, and he's like, well, what about fangs? Aren't you supposed to have fangs? And he just like does a little smile, which killed me and Rose.
This
and he's
last part, though, I was on the floor.
like, yeah.
So Jonathan is like, all right, I'm bored by this dude. He's not a Strigoi.
Right. Not as fun as I thought
But
it
I
was
have
gonna be.
one more question. Just one more question for the court. Strigoi are supposed to be super strong. So, are you super strong? Can you be hurt? And Dimitri of court, like, to his credit, he's being very patient with this kid. He's like, I mean, yeah, like, I'm strong, but like things can still hurt me.
Yeah. And Rose, it's like, hey, kid, you should just punch him and see what he does. And this poor mother
This
is like,
mom.
no.
Oh.
And within a second, this kid is like zooming. He's up there. He's got his tiny little fist and just like punches Dimitri in the knee. And Dimitri does a full thespian level performance of him like knocked
Academy
out of
Awards
Academy
to
Award,
Dimitri.
yeah, right. He like falls out of his chair and it's like, oh god, you got me. Oh man. And I can't with this. This is fucked up.
It's so cruel.
How dare you give me happy-go-lucky fun? Dimitri hasn't been able to have fun this whole time and feel good emotions. And he's like smiling, and I can't. I can't. You can't throw this in front of me. How dare you?
It's so painful because Jonathan's like, this kid, he is not strong. I'm bored.
Right, I'm out of
After
here.
just getting, like, what kid gets permission from an adult to go punch someone?
Right, yeah. So immediately disinterested.
Yeah, he's like, he's boring. Gotta go.
Right.
And the other investigators are like, we're wasting our time. It's hot. I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but Dimitri's not one of our problems. So send him, like, he doesn't need to be in prison anymore. Just get him away. Go. Get out of here. Scram.
God.
And then the worst possible thing happened for me. Because, like, the group starts dispersing, right? Because they're like, I don't Okay.
Right.
And Rose is so happy right now, having just helped Dimitri's case, but also seeing Dimitri in a very carefree mood.
Yeah.
And it's like, hell yeah, I want to go tell my best friend. Like, I want to celebrate this.
Right, this rules.
And as soon as Dimitri, like, gets back up onto the bench, he's back to current Dimitri. Like,
Right.
his mask is back on.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want this. Get away.
And Lissa's like, you gotta go. Go. Get
She's
out
like,
here.
what do you mean? Like, I'm doing great out here. I'm actually, like, killing it right now. And I'm helping you guys a lot, so. And they're both just like, you're gonna ruin this, so, like, get out. Which hurts me so bad.
To the point where Dimitri's like, make her go away.
God. I hate it here.
And Lissa's having to, like, shout at her
Like,
in her
through
head
the bond,
of, like,
yeah.
do not make him upset right now in front of these people. That's not going to help this case.
Right.
So just go, walk away, or you're going to ruin everything. And so she does.
Right.
Because what else is she supposed to do? And runs into who else? But Eugene's mom.
Daniela. Ugh. God.
Great.
Everything's going really good. We love
Who's
this.
like, hey,
I'm just your bestie. I'm just
come-
your friend. Come to this party.
Come to our party, because that's all we do as rich people, is throw parties.
Yeah. And Rose is just like, what the why?
And it's in, like, an hour.
Right, so, like, get ready. Yeah. And, just, I hate it. And also, in the background, there's, like, some guy
Oh
standing
yeah,
by
there's
a
just
tree.
some dude
There's
who's
some
been
dude.
watching this conversation happen.
Right, and Rose is like, what the... I'll deal with you later, I guess. What the fuck is happening? And she's like, okay, I'll try to make this party, like, it'll be nice to kind of, like, schmooze without Tatiana being there, like, whatever.
Right.
It'd be nice to just talk to Adrian, even though we're, like, not in a great place, like, whatever. Anyway, see ya. Also, and then, Daniela kind of, like, drops a bomb that's like, oh, also, there's kind of a potential that you could be Lys's guardian. And Rose is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, how do you know that? Like, what?
Right. And she's like, you know, after everything that's going on, like, they don't want to waste good guardians, and, like, you know, probably don't want there to be, like, animosity between the two of you. And now Rose is like, well, I don't want to be bribed for this, but, like, whatever.
God.
You know, there's too much court drama right now. I can't even figure this out. Maybe there'll be, like, drama at this party. I can, like, get some intel. Whatever. Ugh.
As a reminder, this whole day started with her not getting sleep and then going to the courthouse and fighting with Tatiana. Like, this has
Right.
all been one day.
We're still in one 24-hour period at this moment.
Right.
So this girl's tired, right?
Exactly.
She's like,
And
fine.
then has to deal with this NPC leaning against a tree
Yeah, and she
who
was just
has a message for her.
yeah, she's like, who the fuck are you? What the hell's going on? And he's like, listen, the snow will explain everything. I got a little message. Don't worry about it. It's important.
Don't kill me. I work for your dad. Like,
Right. Yeah. Well, then that she realizes it's like, you work for Abe. Bum, bum, bum.
right.
So this next chapter, this dude is like, yeah, I work for your dad. Pays great. Fucking sick. I'm just like vibing out here. Every once in a while, I just have to send a message to someone on like a court campus. Great. Easy clap, you know? I'm
If I
just the
piss him
messenger.
off, he makes me do, like, those singing Valentines. Not great.
Right.
But, like, for the most part, it's fine.
Right, it comes with the gig, you know? It goes with the territory.
Right.
And he's like, you know, I'm not, like, spying necessarily on you, but listen, this thing is important, and it's urgent, so, like, that's
Right.
the deal. And so she reads this note, Also, this guy's name is Tad, which is very funny to me.
Ugh.
Incredible name. Anyway, he's like, okay, there's something really important. It's a conversation that you have to speak to someone urgently, like tonight. Also, it has to be so private that, like, I've given you this, like, laptop and, like, satellite modem that, like, will be a secure private situation. And you also have to be in a secure private location while having this conversation. And it's going to be at 7 a.m. So have fun.
Have fun hacking into the Matrix. Okay, bye.
Right. And Rose is like, what the fuck is this?
What is my dad doing?
Yeah. And again, as we've noticed before, Rose not really great with technology. You know what I mean? She's like,
No.
it's not her strong suit, but like she has all these instructions and all these wires and all these things. So she's like setting it up and is like, fuck, okay, whatever. I'll do this silly thing.
Right.
For Abe, I guess. And she gets hooked up, and who is it on the call? But
It's our girl.
Our good friend and pal and truck lover, Sydney. Hell yeah.
It's been a while since we've had Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, she's back. She's back in the biz. And they're on like a little video call. And Rose's like, oh my god, bestie, what's up? How you doing? And Sydney, naturally, is just like her tone is business first. She's not trying to like play games. She's not trying to be a friend. She's just like, oh hey, good morning, or whatever what time it is in your sacrilegious time period, whatever. And Rose is like, what is going on? Why are you here? What is happening? And
Sydney is all business.
Right.
She's like, we need to talk. Have you done any crimes recently?
right. Yeah, Rose is like, can you be specific?
Yeah, can you, what time period,
Right.
with whom,
Generally.
what country?
Yeah, if we can like narrow down a little bit, that would actually be
Right.
great for me. Also, we find out too that Sydney is no longer in Russia. She is posted in New Orleans, and because
yeah.
she has done a deal with Abe, of the "I'll let you know when I need something from you" variety, which might seem important
Yikes.
at some point down the line. So, and Rose is like, okay, what's going on? Why is this like even happening? And Sydney finally gets a little bit more conversational in here, and it's like, hey, I'm the one doing you a favor. And Rose's like, what do you mean? What is going on? Can you just tell me what the fuck is happening here?
And apparently, weirdly,
yeah,
someone broke in to Alchemist territory and stole records.
yeah,
And which sounds very familiar to what they did at the court, but it's not about that.
right.
It's paper records, and it's about Lys's dad, Eric.
Bum, bum, bum.
Which is weird given that Rose just learned some intel about Eric
Right,
when they were in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah.
So Rose is like, okay, so I didn't commit that crime.
Right.
No.
I can tell you about other crimes, but maybe not for the best. But I definitely did
Right,
not do
exactly.
that one. And Sydney's not really buying it. 'Cause she's like, this makes sense. Like, you are closely... This would make sense, given your whole thing.
Yeah.
And your whole spice for life. Like, I understand. And Rose is, like, very deliberately trying to convince her. And at some point, Sydney's just like, yeah, all right. Like, the whole reason I called you is, like, if it was you, we have to, like, protect you because Abe's gonna be on my ass. But also, if it wasn't you, like, all right. But now Rose is interested because she's like, well, then what were the... Hold on, what were these records, though? I know it's not me, but, like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Why?
I love Rose because she's like, so they only stole the paper copies, right?
Right.
And Sydney's like, yeah, of course. And so Rose is like, could you send me the digital copies?
The gall.
Sydney's like, no, God.
This is a criminal investigation, Rose. What are you talking about? You can't
Oh
just get
my
the
God.
records. And they're all apparently, like, bank records from Vegas. And there's, like,
It's like history and observations, some stuff about his bio.
Right.
And then info about large deposits he made to a bank account in Vegas that he tried to cover up.
Right.
Which,
Yeah. Interesting. And then at some
And-
point... yeah, no, go ahead.
Interesting. Well, because Rose is like, Vegas? I would just
Yeah.
say. Where Sydney makes a point to say that Adrian is cute.
Right. Which is like, okay. All right.
All right.
Spy.
Okay.
Noted. All right. Gonna just keep that in the back pocket.
Right. We
and
don't
then-
know who the money was being moved to.
No.
It was
And
just a woman
yeah.
named Jane Doe.
Right. Which,
Sydney probably thinks that's her real name, by the way.
oh, God, Sydney. Bless her heart. And at some point, Rose keeps pressing, and Sydney's like, I've already told you too much, bye. And just, like, just cuts off the entire thing. And Rose is like,
Ugh,
Well-
I love her.
yeah. God, an icon. I wish we had more of her. She's so fun.
I love that she is supposed to be this, like, investigator, but she's bad at investigating.
Right. And
that
also,
is
like, so
powerful.
religious, too. Like, all these times Rose is making
Yeah.
jokes and stuff, and she's just like, can you please? No.
The important thing to note about this is after the call ends, Rose keeps like thinking about this conversation that she has with Sydney, and then she gets ready for bed.
Yes.
And you might be thinking, interesting. It seems like it's been more than an hour. Should she be getting ready for that party
Yeah.
with Adrian's family? Yeah, maybe.
You would, yeah, you might be onto something.
I mean, she did say she would go.
Right.
But she does not. She just falls asleep.
Yeah.
And
her
that's not her
defense-
fault. It's been a really long day.
Yeah, her defense, she's a sleepy girl. You know what I mean? Like, she's been...
Rose doesn't get enough sleep.
No.
She also does not text Adrian at any point to say, I'm not coming.
Yeah. So...
Not great.
Womp womp. So she wakes up the next morning, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck do I do with this information? Right? She's like,
Right.
do I tell Lissa? Like, Sydney made it seem like it was pretty confidential, but also, I feel like this is something she should know, right?
Right.
And
So you gotta go tell Lissa.
right, you gotta go to Lissa, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna like go out toward her side of the court. Hell yeah, but get stopped by Adrian immediately.
Uh-oh.
And she's just like joking, and it's like, oh, isn't it early for you? Wink, wink, haha, so funny. And he is not looking happy. he looks,
Like coming home late and your dad is in an armchair
yeah,
waiting for you.
with like a little
Vibes.
scotch, and it's like, where have you been? Yeah,
There's no lights on. He's just there.
yeah, right. And Rose now sees that the vibe is a little bit off. And he's like, yeah, it's, pretty easy to be up early if you didn't get much sleep. I was kind of up pretty much all night waiting for someone who didn't show up. And she's just like, oh, fuck. The party. Damn it. I forgot. I had other things. I'm sorry. And Adrian's like, whatever, like, I really shouldn't be surprised anymore. Like, this is just your behavior now, and I'm just, like, deluding myself into thinking you're different. And Rose is like, wait a damn minute, okay? I was gonna go, but you don't understand. You won't believe this wild thing just happened to me last night with Abe and stuff. And he's like, I don't even want to hear it. Nope. Mm-mm. No. Like, my mom told me. My mom told me that you were over at Dimitri's little questioning thing. And she's like, yeah, but that was like earlier in the day. That was not why I wasn't there. Okay? So, like, first of all, and he's like, well, whatever, it's not the point. You managed to make time to, like, go to his thing, hang out at his cell,
True.
do all these
True.
things, and not, make time for your boyfriend, question mark, alleged boyfriend, for something that, like, you said you were gonna do and, like, meant a lot.
Also
so, like,
true.
what the fuck? And yeah, Rose is not really getting a lot in edgewise here, naturally, because those things are all correct.
They are correct.
Right.
Here's the thing that's really fucky about this.
Yeah.
Everything that Adrian's saying is correct.
Right.
Should he be saying it in his Mason Pissboy voice? No.
Right, yeah.
Should he be saying it when he hasn't slept, he is hungover, and he has the clove cigarette smoke around him? No. Not helping his case.
No.
But all the things that he's saying are true.
Right.
Because what Rose had told him of, like, when Demetria came back, she said that she was going to try and, like, give this a real college try, and she hasn't done that.
Right.
Which is true.
Yeah.
And they both knew that.
God.
And there's a part, too, where I think, like, Rose starts going immediately and thinking about Mason. And Rose is like, I'm sorry, like, I do want us to have this thing. And Adrian, fuck. He's like, I don't believe that. And neither do you.
Oof. Brutal.
And he's like, all right, listen, I need to sleep. I can't do this now.
I'm not playing your little games anymore. Oof.
And to be fair, Adrian, you know, like, she did just become an adult. You are 21.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe go find someone your own age. How about that?
Yeah. And then she's like, listen, if you don't want to talk about us, that's fine. But, like, something happened and it, like, involves Lissa. So, like, I would appreciate your advice before you go to Sleep Town. All right? Was that allowed? He's like, fucking, if you want a favor, whatever, make it fast. Like, this is your whole thing. And so, like, she tells about the bank records and stuff and all that things. And he's just like, I don't really see what the problem is. You know? Like, yeah, we knew that, like, he was like in debt to stuff. Like, we saw that in Vegas that he was like a kind of a popular figure, a regular, you know? Like, it's probably fine. And I don't see how this affects Lissa. So, like, if you're done, I'm done with this.
It's not good. It's not good.
It's not great, Bob.
It's not great, Bob. The Rose is interrupted by bells.
Yes.
And she's like, oh shit, it's Sunday, homie.
It's church time. It's the Lord's Day.
It's the Lord's Day.
Let's go.
Everyone's going to be at church.
We gotta go to church.
We gotta go. We gotta go get high off that incense.
Hell yeah, baby. Let's go.
Now, I need to provide some context to the audience and to you.
Yeah.
I have been trying to find us fan fiction for a minute now. Mm-hmm. And have been just bobbing and weaving, trying to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
Right?
It's hard out here. You're doing the Lord's work.
It's hard out here. The one thing that I would argue the only thing that I have known about this series since we've started, has been the phrase that comes up at the end of this chapter. And I had no idea what the context of it was.
Yeah.
Or what it was. Because I saw it in fan fictions referenced a lot.
Sure, yeah.
And I was like, is that from a song? Like, what is this?
Right.
Because I saw people using it a lot.
Yeah.
And then as we started getting closer, I was like, I'm afraid.
Yeah. And doesn't it hurt more knowing where it comes from?
It
so
hurts so much more now that I knew those words, and I just got like, I ran into a brick wall not knowing that this was the church scene where this happens. Because people kept saying in fan fictions, like, post phrase.
Yeah.
Here's where this happens. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is, so I can't use it.
Right.
Anyway, and now it, like, retroactively hurts so much more.
Ugh, I'm so sorry.
Because, you know, like, how you would go on, like, Tumblr and stuff, and you would just, like, ignore spoilers from other shows because it doesn't matter?
Right, yeah. Now it matters.
Now it matters, and it hurts now that I know what that is. So, having that context, I fucking hate this. And I would like to invoice, I know we say this often, but I would like to invoice Ferrero Rocher for this, because this is one of the best scenes that she's written, and I hate that, because it hurts so much.
Honestly, it's so well done. I forgot how much this shit hurt. Because we've been hurt a lot by this, but this is like, not only is it like really painful, but it's very well done, and that's fucked up. At least we had trash that hurt us, but now it's like good stuff that's hurting.
Yeah, it was like cringy stuff that was painful, and that's a different thing than when I'm like emotionally invested.
Right.
But to have it be in the church, ma'am?
Yeah. So it's church time, and Rose stumbles her way in, realizes that most seats, if not all of them, are taken, right? Except for the pretty sizable one, which is next to Dimitri. And Dimitri's kind of like, he's surrounded by guards, but like nobody kind of wants to be like next to him, you know, because they're still kind of scared.
Right.
And so Rose is like, bet. Let me just get in there. And Dimitri's like, don't do this. And she's like,
not in here.
Right, yeah. And she's like, I wouldn't dream of it, comrade. It's like, I'm just here for the good of my soul, alright? I'm not trying to start shit. I just want to sit here. Is that a crime? Okay? And
it is. It is a crime.
It is a crime. And you can see Rose notices that, like, as everything starts up through the service and everything, like, the tension in his body is, like, easing a little bit.
Kill me.
You know?
Kill me,
because he was
please.
very wary. He was very scared of what was going to happen and stuff. And then he, like, kind of diverted his attention and, like, hardcore focused on the sermon and everything.
Because the one thing that we know about Dimitri is, and they emphasize this a lot more in the show than I feel like it's been in the books.
Yeah.
But he loves the chapel. He loves this as like a routine.
It's very calming. Yes, it's a good routine.
Peace.
And like he is, and also this is the first time he's probably been able to like do it. You know, like they allowed him in, and he was like, it's also a test of like him being in a religious space, right? I
would argue the first time where he isn't a guardian. He doesn't have to. He can just like focus and relax,
right? He's not
and
like
not
focused.
have to be in charge.
Right, that's also true. And so, like, you can see him kind of, like, loosen and just, like, give in to all of it.
The Lord.
The Lord, yeah, JC. And for a moment, like, Rose notices, or, like, thinks in her own brain of, like, is he feeling, like, hope right now? Like, is he feeling excited about, or, like, that there is a potential future of anything, of life, and she quickly realized that it's more sorrow and more kind of like longing, right? Like at the end of the pier, you know, the end of the dock, right? Of something that's like unattainable.
He's listening to Coney Island.
Right, exactly. Like more of an unattainable feeling rather than something that can happen. And Rose, of course,
in the incense, he sees the green light.
Yes, he does. And it's very bleak, right? And Rose is like, in her brain, like, well, we gotta have hope. Like, we gotta, like, figure out how to make him feel this, you know? And this, you know, while this is happening, she's kind of like, now she's, like, talking. Quietly whispering. And it's like, hey, bud, don't you think if, like, the Lord could forgive you, you should probably forgive yourself? And Dimitri's like, you motherfucker. Like, you're quoting back Bible shit to me. Like, how long have you been waiting on that one? And she's like, I just thought of it. Thought it was pretty cool. You're impressed, huh? And, you know, she's like, you know, I was paying attention. And he was like, no, you weren't. You were looking at me. Which, fuck you. Fuck you.
I hate
this.
it.
How dare you? I'm upset. I'm pissed. And of course she's like,
how dare
well,
they be looking at each other?
Yeah, and she's like, well, naturally, he would have had to have been watching me watch him if he knew that I was watching him. So, what is the math
me
on
in
that?
middle school. Just like...
yeah. It's like, wait a minute. Which sucks. And they keep going on of like, you know, that priest right there just said God will forgive everything. So, it seems a little bit sacrilege if you think that guy's a liar and that you can't.
This is why my parents stopped taking me to church.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't shut up.
It's like, well, actually, don't you think that this is you? And Dimitri's just like groaning, just rolling his eyes, and like, Rose, like, enough. And it's like, you know, you're twisting people's words, you're twisting my faith and other people's faith into your own, like, agenda. You know, you've never even believed any of this, so, like, what are you even doing?
God. Him saying you're being sacrilegious is so important.
It's so good. It's so good. God. My baby's fighting. I don't like it. It brings me so much pain.
It's the fact that they are like, this starts with Rose just figuratively like throwing spitballs at him during the service, to them getting into like a silent argument in the back of this church.
Yeah.
Because it's the same argument that they've been having over the last couple days, which is like, Dimitri's like, you don't know. Maybe the monster didn't leave.
Right.
Maybe there's still like Strigoi in me.
Yeah.
And Rose being steadfast of like, I know that's not true. Mm-hmm. And I just know.
Right. And it's like, you need to just like live again and open yourself up to people and be loved by people and like destroy that thing in your brain, you know? Instead of feeling like sorry for yourself. And he's like, you know, I can't. It's too hard. I can't be loved by people. I can't love people. Like, this fucking sucks. And it's just too risky. I can't do it. Sorry.
It is painful when it's painful when it starts to get he starts to get more stern.
Yeah.
I guess, of like, I wish that you hadn't come here.
God. And it's still just like getting angry and like, I want you to stay away from me. Like, I don't want you to keep trying to bring back these feelings that are in the past. And like, it's all in the past, you know. And it's like better for strangers, and like it's better for you. And Rose is obviously like, you can't tell me what to do, okay? Hey, you know I'm not going to listen to you like that. And I'm going to do what I want, okay?
Right. And it's... Rose is still very... I won't even say delusional, but like she's still very steadfast of like, you won't hurt me.
Right.
And he's like, Rose, respectfully, you dumb bitch. I've already hurt you.
Yeah.
Why? What is not getting through to you?
Yeah.
And he finally just like snaps to the point where they are having an argument in the back of this church, and like no one else seems to be noticing other than the folks that are like in the nearby pews.
Right. Yeah.
From them. And it hurts a lot because he does not want to be reminded of what he did to her. And he's trying really hard to stay calm at this point by saying, like, please stay away. And Rose, because of the dynamic that she's had with him, is like, no.
Right. This is how this works. Like, this is how we communicate.
Yeah. And says, like, I won't give up on you. Like, because that's Rose. She can't be the first one to do that.
Yeah.
Because
she always has
hashtag abandonment issues.
Yeah. And holding out hope, you know? And then,
Ferrero, I don't know what kind
woman.
of sick and dark place this has to come from. For him to go from losing his control,
yeah,
and her being, and now having, like, Rose, who's, like, standing up in a church, to losing her control, and now Dimitri being back and, like, steadfast.
Yeah.
And calm. Saying the same things that he said back in the cell. He's saying the same thing, but he's saying it in so much of a crueler way.
Yeah.
Of, I've given up on you. And the 4 worst words I've ever heard in my entire life.
Love fades. Mine has. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
I'm upset. I'm so angry. So upset. And it's like a slap, right? She feels like she's, like, every axis of her understanding of the relationship has completely 180'd, naturally.
And how else do you respond to that other than feeling like you've been physically slapped in the face?
Yeah.
And I completely understand her for being like, well, I need to run out of church now.
Right.
Bye. Forever. Like, can't have the Lord seeing me cry, I guess.
I hate it here. So bad.
And then it just not the book, because that would be fucked.
Yeah, that would be so rude.
The chapter, that would be so rude. No, the chapter, thankfully.
God.
But, like, if your plan was to emotionally scar someone for the rest of their lives, Dimitri, congratulations.
Yeah, you did
You did it.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
God, Ferrero, I can't with you. Enough.
I mean, that only has to come from, like, personal experience, right? What the fuck?
Ferrero.
It has been a long time since something has emotionally impacted me like this. And
Yeah.
I am glad that I did not read this as a teenager, because
God,
it
yeah.
would have fundamentally fucked me up.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Oh my god. So anyway, next week, chapters 25 and 26, where I can only imagine Rose packs her bags and moves away, because what else do you do?
She has nothing else to do. There's no one here. It's over. It's gone.
Yeah, you pack your bags, you move away, you start over, because what the fuck?
You can't recover
else?
from that. It's over.
Nope.
It's done.
Nope. No, you start over in Vegas, baby. Like,
Oh my God.
goodbye. We have some amazing patrons who my love for never fades.
Ooh, so true.
Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Kylie Minty.
Ooh, thank you to Alex Dornan.
Pew pew. Thank you to Mulch Gray.
Ooh, March. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
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 Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Hope Castile.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Rachel Ashford.
Ooh, thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Pew 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 pew. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow, ow. Thank you to my mom, your mom,
Ooh.
all of our
Ooh.
moms. Kelly Beck.
Ooh. Mom. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Laura Forty.
Ooh. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ooh. Thank you to Jaylene Ivishkov.
Pew, pew, pew. And last, but certainly not least, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel. Ow, ow.
Ooh. I have a fan fiction for you.
Hell yeah.
It is titled All of You, All of Me Intertwined. And it is by the author Megan Rachel 09.
Damn.
The summary is Adrian doesn't want Sydney to leave. Sydney
Okay.
has no desire to say goodnight. If it weren't for Zoe, I don't know who Zoe is, they might just have gotten away with it. Or Sydney and Adrian spend one night together before the alchemists step in.
Okay.
Because apparently this is a thing that a lot of people ship.
Yeah, because isn't there like that spin-off? Maybe that's like a thing
I believe you.
that we learned about.
That sounds, sure, that sounds right. There are no chapters in this.
Great.
I wondered if he ever tried to draw me like this. I knew he had some abstract paintings that were inspired by me, like his lily, and one of my eyes in the middle like a swirling dark abyss. The thought of him trying to draw or paint me in such an intimate setting sent a thrill down my spine. For one wild moment, I nearly offered to model for him. It was a testament to how comfortable I was with Adrian that the thought would even cross my mind, when less than a year ago, it was a struggle to even politely shake his hand. After a long moment, he sighed. Okay, Sage, he said, if we're doing the responsible thing, you've got maybe a minute before the loose grip I've got on my self-control slips. He bent over to gather his jeans, presumably to dress so he could walk out with me to my car, and grabbed my blouse where it lay near his hastily discarded t-shirt. He handed me my blouse, and I took it from him wordlessly, but made no move to redress myself. Adrian didn't seem to notice when I dropped it to the ground on the opposite side of the bed, too distracted trying to fix the inside-out leg of his jeans. Well, you know, I said, doing my best to play up what I hoped was a sly, seductive quality in my tone. Judging by the way Adrian's eyebrows shot up in avid interest, I figured I was pulling it off. I caught him by the wrist before he could pull his jeans on and tugged him back onto the bed. He dropped his jeans and fell on top of me, evidently still half hard, and the desire flared up in his fathomless green eyes again when I pushed him onto his back and crawled over him to settle over his hips. I leaned in close, my lips brushing his as I whispered, I've been told I'm too irresponsible. End scene.
Cute. Okay.
So, apparently, that is the thing. And
Oh,
I'm very curious to see that there would be a Sydney that is more relaxed
Right.
in this world.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it at all. I honestly, knowing how little, I mean, that's not like there isn't chemistry between Rose and Adrian, but like,
Right.
that makes more sense to me
Yeah, already.
personally.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love it. Please take care of yourselves. Enjoy shows. Enjoy the Cars universe.
Always.
Always. Please invoice Ferrero Rocher for compensation of your emotions.
Absolutely.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
Get bit.
ooh,
Ooh.
ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.